So this is my favorite piece of all Salad Master, to be honest. I love this electric skillet. This is an oil cord electric skillet, and it has oil inside. I don't know if you can hear that right there. So what it does is it heats everything very evenly. So when you put the lid on, it's actually a convection oven. And when you take it off, it's a saute pan. So I basically use this about 3 or 4 times a day, to be honest. I use it all the time. I've never used my oven. We save about $600 a year in oven costs because I'm not using my oven. So today I'm going to make some chicken. Just like we were talking about the fact that we lose our nutrition through heat, water, and oxygen. This is just another way of showing you how much you can save by cooking in a low oxygen, no water, no fat environment, or low at least to that. So I have a hot pan here and it's 450 degrees. I'm not putting my vegetables in because we were already talking about the fact that you can kill the nutrition of your plants when it reaches 185. So we want to cook at lower temperatures when we add that in. But right now we're going to put our chicken into our hot pan. So I've got 2 chicken. I have 2 pieces of chicken thighs, and it's always good to preheat your pan. Metal on metal is best. I always use a metal spatula. I would never use a plastic one. And when I put that in, it kind of rolled in there. So it kind of like dances on top. So I'm not putting any oil in. I'm just going to add my chicken in here. So just put it right on the metal surface. And since this is, a high grade metal, it's going to be easy to clean afterwards, and I'm going to show you. So we're going to let this go for about 10 minutes. It has a temperature probe here, and what I do is I set it for 450, and then I can put the timer on and set it for 10 minutes. Once it's at 10 minutes, it's just automatically going to turn off. So if I run do some laundry or something, or run and do something, I can come back. It's not going to be overcooking it. So we'll be back in a second, and I'll show you. Or in 10 minutes, and I will show you. Okay, so my time is at 1 minute, and the electric skillet just went off. And I'm just gonna turn these over. And as you can see, they have like a nice golden brown to them, where it's like unfried chicken, where I didn't use any oil at all. I just used the metal with the protein. Now I'm gonna put my Brussels sprouts in. I like to use Brussels sprouts because when I grew up, I did not like Brussels sprouts at all. My mother would make them and she would cook them to pulp, to be honest. And then we were expected to eat them and not leave the dinner table until they were over. And now that we know that cooking your vegetables in too high of heat, too much water, and having too much oxygen exposure, it's basically ruins the plant itself. So it's kind of worthless to eat. Maybe get 10% nutrition from it. So, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the temperature down. So once it starts to click, I'm going to leave it where it was now, but when it starts to click, this is called a vapor valve. And steaming, it's going to start steaming, which means, hey, it's hotter than 200 degrees. It's like 212 at least. So when it starts to do that, I want to turn it down to 200 degrees. And by doing that, I'm not going to overcook my vegetables. And I'm going to set the timer for about 10 minutes. Or you could keep it later or longer if you want, like you wanted to run an errand or something and you came back. It's going to stay the same temperature at 200. It's not going to really overcook it, but it's going to need at least 10 minutes to cook. So what I'll do is I'll turn this down to 200 degrees, and then I set my timer for 10 minutes. And that way I don't have to worry about forgetting about it, because if you know me personally, my attention span is not very good. So anyway, so this is going to start to click. I'm going to turn it down, and 10 minutes later we'll have our chicken and vegetables. You could do this with any protein, any vegetables, super fast dinner. So as you can see, this is starting to click. I don't know if you hear that. So what that means, it means medium heat, and once it clicks, you turn it down to low. And that way, it's called medium click low. And that way you won't overcook your food. So now I'm turning the temperature down to 200 degrees and setting the time for 10 minutes. And we'll be back to show you dinner. So 10 minutes has passed, and you can see that there's like a suction to this thing where it takes a little bit of work to actually take the lid off, because it is creating a semi-vacuum, so that way it can cook at lower temperatures for shorter periods of time. So kind of the opposite of a pressure cooker, or even then of an Instapot, where it's like high heat short period of time or low heat long period of time. both of those are kind of things that will not help with our food and keeping the integrity of our food. So as you can see, I can just lift it right out of here. There's not been any oil or anything except metal and Brussels sprouts and chicken. The thing is, I also want to show you that, yeah, most of the times people don't like Brussels sprouts, plain old Brussels sprouts. And the reason is because we cook the flavor right out of them. The minerals are lost and the flavor is gone. So this way we're retaining that instead. So as you can see here, the color is so bright and vibrant where it's not lost. And if you could be here to taste this plain chicken and Brussels sprouts, you would say, gosh, that is really good. Shockingly good. There's no seasonings, there's no salt, there's no fat in there, and it still tastes really good because you're eating pure food here. You're not eating your cookware, you're not having the vitamins and minerals cooked out of it, you're just getting the real taste of food. So here's the beautiful part of it is I can just take this, and you can see how it is right here, and I take it over to my sink while it's still even hot. I'm not going to submerge it in water, I'm just putting water in it. I'm not editing this part at all, just so that you can see how quick it is to clean. So there it is, it's clean. I'll show you in a sec. I actually didn't even use soap yet. I just used water and a steel pad. Because you can, when it comes to having this very, very high metal, you can use steel on steel, metal on metal. It's not a problem. You see, it cleans up right away. Beautiful.